inspectors, whether they're OSHA inspectors or fire marshals or other safety inspectors, they aren't always 100% correct. Sometimes they are just pulling stuff out of their butt. They aren't actually remembering all of the details of the guidelines. And it sounds like maybe you've experienced some of that. I had some of that experience with a theater safety inspector from the CSUs, and they said that my fence was too high because it causes the guard to lift up too high as it's going over and exposes too much of the blade. But that's not something that I'm going to respond to and actually change, because if I lower the fence, if I don't have the proper support behind my material, that's actually worse than the blade guard briefly going up and over my fence. This piece of wood is easy to pull out and replace and put another one in, but I'm not going to be changing it all the time. I'm going to find a sort of an intermediary size that works for the bulk of my operations, and I'll change it out when it gets chewed up, or I'll change it out when I need a different fence for a different purpose. But sometimes the inspectors are wrong. Now, if an OSHA inspector or a fire marshal comes through and says something and it's probably wrong, you probably still have to comply with them. And if the OSHA inspector is wrong, you're going to need your company to get behind it and back it and fight it. And if your company's not willing to do that, then you got to do what OSHA says. I think the OSHA inspectors and fire marshals, they have a little bit of leeway to make some judgment calls that are a little bit beyond the scope of the specific requirements. And when they make those judgment calls, you still have to deal with that. You either have to comply with their judgment calls and just blindly do what they say, or you have to bring new evidence to the table proving that what you have set up is actually complying with the OSHA guidelines. That's dependent upon the employer to do that. And if the employer doesn't want to do that, then their option is going to be, oh, let's just get rid of this machine. It's too much trouble.